All right, hey folks, welcome back. We're here at Dragon's Keep in Orem, and I'm with Seth. Seth manages the Orem store and the Lehigh store, and then we've also got the Provo store and the Spanish Fork store. If you're interested, we wanted to show you the craziness that Wizards of the Coast has sent us this week, that hit both this week. So we know that everybody's interested in this. Everybody I know wants to get their hands on it. Let's show you what it is. First thing that came out this week are the Commander decks for Warhammer 40k.
And these have been talked about a lot over, the last year? Yeah. Since they spoiled it last year in their annual video. And at first, there was a lot of people saying, they shouldn't cross over Warhammer and Magic, and then people kind of calmed down a little bit.
Right.
And then they started showing what the cards were. And I think after that, everybody got off the fence. And these are, as a Commander player, let's say you've never played Warhammer, these are some fun, interesting decks in colors that maybe don't have this kind of support before. We'll get into each of the decks a little bit. I'm actually going to open the decks and we're going to go through a little bit. Let's start with the Forces of the Imperium. As you see here, the face commander is Inquisitor Greyfax. Just a little bit about how they've done the Imperium deck. The colors are going to be white, blue, black. So everything in the deck is going to fit inside those colors. And they've done all of the Forces of the Imperium. If you know Warhammer, you know that the Imperium is the humans. Some people might say they're the good guys.
Are there good guys in Warhammer?
I
don't think there's good guys.
I'm going to say the orcs because I'm an orc player, but
the orcs are the good guys.
But yeah, no, there's no good guys in 40k. People will argue that the salamanders or the Tau, but no, that's an argument for another day that I've had for the last 30 years.
The Tau are for sure the good guys.
That's not true. they literally enslave people. Slavery is wrong.
That's true. Don't do that. Okay, let me show you what you get in the box. So it comes out, you've got the little insert and the little punches that they've been putting in the last year or so, just for tokens and whatnot. You've got a ton of them. On the back, this isn't punchable.
No, the card isn't. They do is they put a plastic card in the deck, and that's just garbage.
Yeah, that's just garbage now. But you've got little tokens, little punch outs, things. Even this is punchable if you want the art to put on a deck box or something like that. That's cool.
When you flip this around, show the Imperial symbol for the Imperium of Man. Yeah. So they're actually using not just magic symbols, but symbols that are used in Warhammer. So as a guy, I've been playing both Warhammer and Magic since the mid-90s. Right. So this is super exciting.
Okay, we're going to get a deck box out of this. It's going to hold your cards, hopefully sleeved, but looks like non-sleeved.
Yeah, it will hold them sleeved.
Really?
Yeah. If it's the same size as, it'll hold them sleeved. Great. Because that's even with the tokens.
Oh, yeah, sweet.
You got room for sleeves.
Perfect. So pretty cool looking deck box. We've got Greyfax on the front, and then you get a live counter as well. There you go.
And you have two options to run Greyfax. One, and I'll put it up here so we can see it there. And you can see that's a thicker, it's actually a plastic, and it's foil if you're going to run her as the commander. If you decide not to run her as the commander, there is one other you can run as the commander, and that's, of course, they use an Ultramarine. They always use an Ultramarine.
Sure.
And it's Marneus Calgar. So you can run Marneus. The two options, and I'll talk quickly about the synergy.
They started doing that with the Forgotten Realms, right? Having two options for
so they've done that for a while, where there's different options. Right. I won't say every deck in the last 5 or 6 years, but a lot of decks in the last few years have had what we call the lead singer, the one on the box.
Yeah.
And then a couple backup singers that you can choose from. This one has one. So if you use Greyfax,
probably.
what her ability, let's see. Yeah, I can just kind of hold it.
I got it there. Go ahead, put her down. I'll just
Okay.
put it down. Cool.
So her ability, she's a 3/3 legendary creature, human inquisitor, which inquisitor is important in the Warhammer 40k universe. She costs 4 mana. Wow, I can't add. 1 plus a
colors,
white, a blue, and a black. She has vigilance, and then she has an ability that they call unquestionable wisdom. Other creatures you control get +1, +0, and have vigilance. So this is going to be really good. You can attack and still leave them up as blockers. And then Hunt for Heresy for a colorless and tap. You can tap target creature an opponent controls. Then you investigate. Investigate's already a thing in Magic where you create a token that's a clue.
Clue tokens.
Where you can pay 2, sack it, and draw a card. So she draws a card. She buffs your guys. Really, that's a good, and I'm saying
pretty sweet. Yeah.
Do I have Greyfax mixed up with someone? Oh no, it is a she.
Yeah.
I was thinking the other Inquisitor. I don't play Imperium. I mean, I have a Blood Angels army, but that's the only Imperium I play. Or you can go Space Marines as your commander with the Ultramarine Marnius Calgar. I'm going to read it, then put it up. So he's 1 more mana, 2, a white, a blue, and a black for a 3/5 legendary creature, Astartes Warrior. He has double strike, an ability called Master Tactician, where whenever 1 or more tokens enter the battlefield under your control, draw a card. And then he has Chapter Master, where you can pay 6, create 2/2/2 white Astartes Warrior creature tokens with vigilance. That sounded funny. You create 2 tokens that are each 2/2s. So I'm going to put him up. You can just switch those 2 as the commander. The deck will run well either way. A big thing in Commander is being able to draw a card. So I'm probably, if it's me, I'm going to go with Marnius Calgar, because while they both draw cards, he draws cards a little easier. And if you're ever in need of drawing a card and you have extra mana, pay 6 mana, create tokens, draw cards. So
yep.
That's the Imperium deck, and you're going to find the 99 in this deck is going to have a lot of ways to create tokens, a lot of ways to pump tokens.
That's what this deck is made to do, is put creatures out. And then there's a couple of cool things in here. I mean, put creatures out. This is a cool card. Deny the Witch is in here. Counter target spell, activated ability, or triggered ability. So anything.
Anything.
Its controller loses life equal to the number of creatures you control.
Oh.
For 4.
Okay, yeah,
So
because we
So
needed
great.
more stifle effects,
Yeah.
right?
But something cool that you do get in these two, just some artwork on Soul Ring. Look at that.
And all 4 of the decks are going to have their own individual Soul Ring.
And then they've reprinted Swords to Plowshares with new Warhammer art on that. That's pretty, isn't it?
Dang it, now I have to buy the Imperial deck.
Look at that tank. That's awesome. So, yeah, great looking deck. I don't know much about this one either. We're going to get to... We saved the ones that we like for the band. So,
Well, and really, they didn't print an Orc deck, so I like all of them less than I would have
There
if
you
they had
go.
printed an Orc deck.
looks like there's some cool stuff in here. There's a Miracle, Triumph, and St. Catherine. And I would play this.
Yeah,
They've got some good mana fixing in here. Yeah.
They all look like fun decks. I have a hard time reading online and imagining what the deck will do. Once I get it in my hands, I go, oh, duh. This is how it works. And so I didn't tear through this deck as much as I tore through some of the others, but it looks like a fun deck.
It's 3 colors, so you're dealing with that, but I think they're all 3, aren't they?
All except for Necrons.
Oh, good.
And they, as far as playing them out of the box against each other, the Necron one is a single color deck where the others are 3 colors, so you can argue that's going to make it more make it easier to run. Maybe not stronger, but definitely easier to run.
All right. Let's talk about the next one.
So now we've got the Ruinous Powers, the Chaos deck. Of course, if they're only going to do 2 decks in Warhammer 40k, they've got to do the great 2 factions that have been fighting for 10,000 plus years, and that's Chaos and the Imperium. And this is one of the cards that they spoiled first. I want to say it was months ago. The lead singer on this one, and that's Abaddon the Despoiler. Now, if you know absolutely nothing about the lore of Warhammer 40k, Abaddon he is a Chaos Space Marine who is now, 12,000 years old. And he leads the Black Legion, which is mostly the fallout of the Sons of Horus Legion when the Horus Heresy ended and Horus died. So Horus was the Primarch of the Sons of Horus. He took what was left of them and anybody else who was left, created the Black Legion. He leads them. He's an absolute monster in the lore. One of the best fighters the Imperium had, and now he's fighting for Chaos. So let's
get to him.
Go ahead and read what he does.
Abaddon is 5 mana, 2 blue, black, red.
I'm not the only one bad at math today.
No, today is a bad day for math. That's true. Trample, Mark of Chaos Ascendant. During your turn, spells you cast from your hand with mana value X or less have Cascade, where X is the total amount of life your opponents have lost this turn. So hit them hard and then just Cascade. Cascade.
And if you don't know what Cascade is, I know we're going to have a couple types of people watching this video.
True, good point.
Some who are Magic players who don't know much about Warhammer 40k, but the decks look interesting, and Warhammer players that may not know much about Magic. So if you don't know what Cascade does, when you cast a spell that has Cascade, you then reveal cards from the top of your library until you get a non-land card that's cheaper in mana cost than the original spell cast, and you get to cast that for free.
It's BOGO. Buy one, get one.
Buy one, get one.
Yeah.
And I mean, some of the strongest decks in Commander use Cascade.
Yeah.
I mean,
I play my Sliver deck.
You have a first Sliver deck. I mean, I've played against CDH first Sliver decks that use Food Chain and just go crazy. So it's a very strong effect. Again, you have the big plastic card if you want to use Abaddon as your commander. You do have one other option for your commander.
There we go. Look at that. We made it work.
And that's Bellicor. And I'll read it, then I'll put it up. Bellicor is 6 mana, so he's 3, and then what Magic players would call Grixis, blue, black, red. And he's a legendary creature, Demon Noble. He's a 6/5, so 6 mana for a 6/5 is pretty good already. He has flying, great evasion. And then his abilities are Prince of Chaos. When Bellicor, the Dark Master, enters the battlefield, draw X cards and lose X life, where X is the number of demons you control. And then Lord of Torment, whenever another demon enters the battlefield under your control, it deals damage equal to its power to any target. So
I might main him. He's, drawing cards rather than Cascade. I don't know.
And, just like the Imperium deck, this is kind of Chaos United. So you are going to have, I would say, just thumbing through, about half of your creatures are going to be Astartes, the Chaos Astartes, and then about half of them are going to be demons. So I think that his ability is pretty good. I would have to get an exact count on demons before I decided that I was going to main him.
But you could customize it. You could go all
demons. And you can find demons other places. So they did the talismans.
Where's the tokens? How many demon tokens are we putting out? That'll tell you.
Oh, true. They're in the back of my hand.
Okay.
There's some.
Okay.
Plague Bear Nurgle is a demon.
Yeah.
And so they did, again, some reprints. The Soul Ring for this one is
that's
very
nice.
chaosy.
Yeah.
And I mean the Ruinous Blast.
Oh, show that.
So this is a established Magic card we've all played 100 times.
Yeah, red, black 5, Cascade, red, black 3, Cascade, and it deals 4 damage to target creature.
So you're going to deal damage to a target creature, then immediately reveal cards from the top of your library till you find something that's 4 mana or less that's not a land, and play it for free.
So great.
Some of the, what us Magic players will call mana rocks that are really good in 3-color decks are the Talismans. They cost 2 mana. You can tap them for a colorless or tap them for one of 2 colors and deal a damage to yourself. And they reprinted the Talisman of Dominance, black-blue, and the Talisman of Indulgence, both with very chaosy Soneshi art.
Like
yeah, again, this was one I did look through a little bit more. Just the reprints, man. Wayfarer's Bauble.
Oh, look at that.
Like, just some pretty. And then I'm going to show a couple of the new cards, like Lord of Change. So Lord of Change is a very famous demon in the Warhammer 40k universe. And he's 7 mana, 6 and a blue for a 6/6 flying Ward 3 creature. So Ward 3 means you can't interact with him, you can't target him unless you pay 3 extra mana.
Yeah.
And then when Lord of Change enters the battlefield, draw 3 cards. Drawing cards in Commander is
about the best thing you can do.
I mean, the best part of the game,
Yeah.
draw a card. And so with him, and he, of course, would do great with either of the commanders, but he wants to be running under Be'lakor.
Yeah.
He wants Be'lakor on the battlefield because you're going to get so much value out of that.
That's cool. Right on. Okay, 2 down. 2 down. So obviously, these are not just stuff they slap together. We're doing Tyranids next?
Let's do Tyranids
Okay.
next. Go ahead and throw those in the box.
But they've redone the art. They've redone the. They put in new creatures straight from 40k, and just made it a great set. So.
Well, and if I were to have told you, sure, there was some support in the colors before, but if I were to tell you, like, oh, I'm going to build a Grixis Cascade deck.
Yeah.
That just, you had some black-red, some red-blue support for Cascade, but really it shifts the color pie just enough to make it super interesting.
True.
And gives us, other options. I personally have gone back and forth between buying 2 copies of these decks myself, one to keep as is so I could play them together.
Yeah, keep it just vanilla.
One that I can mess around with.
Right.
But I don't know, that's a lot.
I'm going to keep I'm going to get 4. My kids love, if you've watched me before on anything, you know that I've got kids. They love 40K, they love Magic, and so I think I'm going to keep these all vanilla. And we'll just bust them out and have a 40K Magic night.
All of your kids who are age appropriate play Magic, and at least 2 of them play 40K.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and I mean, one of your kids plays an Imperial Army, if I remember right.
Well, and Necrons.
And Necrons. So
Necrons,
we're right there.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
This is the deck I probably tore into the most. This is it kind of does in Commander what I like doing. I like making big things and punching you in the face with them. It may not be the strongest thing anymore in Magic in Commander, but it's my way to play.
Let's show you this so you can see the card. There we go.
And so this deck, again, you've got 2 possible commanders. It's the Tyranids. If you're new to 40K, The Tyranids are the insectoid swarm.
They're the aliens.
They're the aliens.
You know,
A lot of sci-fi has the
battle
Starship Troopers.
Starship Troopers.
I actually had a friend take a Tyranid army and paint them like the bugs.
Oh, the yellow and black.
And they're so pretty. They're awesome. So pretty. Aliens. If you're a StarCraft player.
Yeah.
The Zerg and the Tyranids are so similar in a lot of ways that it just kind of, you can say they're Tyranids. I mean, Gaunts and Zerglings are the same exact thing.
All right, I've got the Swarmlord. That's 3 colorless, green, blue, red. That's what you're playing with here. Let's get that out. Okay. This is the Swarmlord Rapid Regeneration. The Swarmlord enters the battlefield with 2 +1/+1 counters on it for each time you've cast your commander from the command zone this game. And then Xenos, yeah, you like that, don't you? He's already a 5/5, so he comes in at 7/7 for 6. And then next time we'll come in at 9/9 for 8. Then on top of that, Xenos Cunning, whenever a creature you control with a counter on it dies, draw a card. So you're going to get card draw, and you're going to get, like Seth said, a big giant creature that you can just throw around at people.
And, yeah.
And maybe you don't care if he dies so much, because he's just going to be bigger when he comes back.
In Teamer, it does everything that a Teamer deck wants to do. Teamer is what we call green, blue, red decks. You're drawing cards, you're making things bigger, you're punching things in the face. There's a lot of different abilities in the deck, you know, as you would expect, the tramples, the hastes. You know, there's a green creature with Ravenous on it.
Oh, yeah.
You've got the Aberrant. I'll show you the second commander in a minute. This one I've already dug through a lot, and Swarmlord is who I'm going with 100%.
Sure.
The other one definitely is fun in the deck, but I want access to the Swarmlord over and over and over again, and he's getting bigger and bigger and bigger and scarier every time I cast him. So Aberrant is a green and 1 creature with X in the mana cost as well, which means you can pay any amount.
Don't do that in real life.
And he has Ravenous, with which this creature enters the battlefield with X +1/+1 counters on it. If X is 5 or more, draw a card when it enters.
That's great.
It's draw, it's making it bigger. It has trample, which means even if they block it, if there's extra damage left over, it's going to hit them in the face.
I mean, I know it's got blue in there too, but to get card draw in green is pretty awesome.
Yeah. And then whenever the Aberrant deals combat damage to a player, destroy target artifact or enchantment that player controls. I would say that artifacts and enchantments are bigger in Commander than any other format. And I mean, we're going to get into a deck next with the Necrons that's all artifacts. You're destroying artifacts or enchantments. It's great. But let me show you real quick the second commander.
Who's the other commander?
So this is, if you know a little bit about the Tyranid lore, they have the Gene Stealers that go ahead of the Swarm and kind of start a religious cult that worships the Tyranids. And they start breeding with whatever alien or human that lives on the planet and creating what is called the Gene Stealer cults. And this is a Magus of the Gene Stealer cult. So she's a human Tyranid wizard, which is, I mean, we need more humans in Commander, right? She's 1 and Teamer. So 1, a green, a blue, and a red. Makes her 4 cost for a 1/1 legendary creature, human Tyranid wizard. She has Spiritual Leader. At the beginning of combat on your turn, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. This deck loves +1/+1 counters. And then she has Psychic Stimulus, also an activated ability. Tap, add 2 colorless mana. When you next cast a spell with X in its mana cost, or activate an ability with X in its activation cost this turn, copy that spell or ability. Now, interesting thing when you copy an X cost is you also copy the whole ability. So if you paid For instance, the Aberrant, if you paid 2 the first time, the copy acts as if you paid 2 as well. So that's really powerful for X spells. You may choose new targets for the copy.
That's awesome.
So again,
she's not a bad one to main either.
When
You're right. The Swarmlord's gonna be fun. He's gonna get big.
The Swarmlord just plays the way I want to play.
Yeah.
She definitely is synergized to the deck really well. I mean, there's quite a few X cost spells in here, if I remember right. Just to keep with our theme, let's put up that Soul Ring.
Look at that. That's nice.
Yeah, so pretty. And actually, there's less. Okay, now I'm finding them. So you got the Exocrine, which is a Tyranid creature.
Tyranid is cannon. It's a bug with a cannon on it.
A living cannon on his back, because that's what alien bugs need. Is an X cost as well. So there are probably...
He gets to draw a card because he's Ravenous, yeah.
Yeah, actually, I'm looking through. There's a lot more towards the back half.
And then he's just going to blast everybody else for however much you pay for him. That's awesome.
And, a lot of the creatures are X-cost creatures, which is a little bit interesting for X spells. I would say usually it's things like this. Starstorm, 2X and a red, deal X damage to each creature, cycling 3. Like, that's usually what you expect to see in an X spell, an instant or sorcery that gets bigger or more, or draws more cards or exiles more things or whatever. The more you pay into it, these are creatures that are getting bigger. So that's a really cool thing. Again, like I say, I like to play with big things and punch in the face. I'm looking just for some...
So what are you missing in this deck? Not a lot of removal except for direct damage.
Well, and I mean, you had destroy artifacts and enchantments on a creature.
Oh, that's right.
I mean,
that's true.
But yeah, removal, I would say board wipes maybe not as big as some other decks. I may want to put a board wipe or 2 in here. For being blue, you don't have as many pay mana draw a card.
Huh.
But like you said, we're drawing cards off of Ravenous. We're drawing cards off of the Commanders. We're drawing cards other ways, but it doesn't have as many of the classic blue, pay this much, draw this many cards, or like classic draw spell, opt, 1 mana, scry 1, draw a card.
Yeah.
You're missing a little bit of that, but repeatable card draw is going to be better anyways in the long run. And so this is you're putting out creatures, putting 1/1 counters on them, hitting them in the face. This is mid-range, and probably the deck I'm the most excited about. Who knows? Over the weekend, I'm probably going to play 5 or 6 games with them. I may end up liking the Imperium deck better, but for me, this is what I want to be doing with cards.
Something fun with this deck, too, is that it has 20 tokens. They're all Tyranids. It's just Tyranid after Tyranid. You've got your regular Tyranid 1/1s. There's 10 of those. You've got your flying Tyranids, the gargoyles. You've got 3/3 Tyranids with trample. And then you have a 5/5 Tyranid token as well. Oh, you can't see him very well. But yeah.
So I also...
You're just dropping stuff like crazy.
I also have kids, and my son, his favorite army in 40k is Tyranids. He's just now getting into Magic. We just finished building him a cat and dog commander deck because he thinks they're cute.
Yeah.
And now he's going to have a bug monster deck that, bug alien deck that is not cute, but but just as fun.
That's awesome. All right, last one, best for last. We've got the Necron Dynasties.
So real quick before you get into it.
Okay.
With Necrons, if someone who doesn't know anything about 40k asks you what the Necrons are, what do you tell them? Just a quick description of them.
They would have to. They're artifacts that are just bringing things back from the dead. They're the necromancers that are also like
Machines.
machines, yeah.
And they're skeletal machines that used to be living beings. They have a very Egyptian feel to them with their tombs.
Oh yeah.
They're
I was like,
some
what are you
of the
talking
stuff
about,
is
1,000 Suns? I've seen 8,000 Suns decks.
1,000 Suns definitely. I bet there's some 1,000 Suns in the Chaos
You
deck.
think so? Okay.
So they have a very Egyptian feel to them. Their crypts are pyramids.
Yeah.
They have a lot of it's like skeletal Egyptians but turned into robots. And how grimdark
It's very
awesome is that?
So BJ, my oldest son, plays Necrons most of the time, and their figures are pretty sweet, complicated stuff. And like
the hardest to build.
Yeah.
Little
like
tiny
Zarek is going to
pieces.
come with like 2 other pods that they're pillars or obelisks that go along with them, and do a bunch of stuff like that. This army is a lot of fun. All right, Zarek, the Silent King, 3 black and a colorless, and he's a flying 3/4. My will be done. Whenever Zarek, the Silent King, attacks, mill 3 cards. That means you take 3 cards to the top of your deck and put them in your graveyard. You may put an artifact creature or vehicle card from among the cards milled this way into your hand. So it's kind of a reverse draw. But I get the feeling that putting cards in your graveyard with this deck is not going to be a problem.
They're going to bring them back.
Yeah.
And even this one, I actually had a discussion with someone about this deck, and he was like, oh, Zarek is probably the least favorite of the legendaries because it goes to the graveyard, then it goes to your hand, and then you have to cast it. But I'm like, something dies.
No.
Usually
This deck's
in
gonna do
Magic,
something with it. Yeah.
when something dies, it goes to the graveyard. It doesn't mean it's gone forever, but it means it's mostly gone. And with this, every turn you're going to be able to pick something that's in your graveyard, put it back in your hand.
Your choice. So
Your
good.
choice. This one also, if I remember right, had... Maybe I'm wrong, but I...
Plus he's a 3/4 flyer for 4. I mean, and Commander decks, 4 is my kind of magic number for their mana cost for the commanders. More than that, I feel like it's a little hard to get them out and actually be using them.
And to quickly have a flyer on the battlefield
That's pretty nice.
means you're blocking anything that comes your way. Usually, I mean, it's not like you're going to run a Planeswalker in this deck, but I only run Planeswalkers if I've got early flyers, and a lot of them. So 4-mana flyer fits right in there. I'm pulling out because, so if you remember, the other 3 decks
what do you got here?
had 2 possible commanders.
Oh, you've got so many.
So that's the interesting thing when you have a single color, is you've got legendary creatures that are black in here that you can run as the commander instead.
Right.
Trazen.
And these are all, that's what's fun too, is that these are all named 40k.
And these are all, I'm sure BJ has some of these models, and has some of the stories he's told in his games have to do with, a lot of these guys. And so now he's going to be able to tell those stories, on a playmat instead of a battlefield. So
Yeah, so Trazen's 4/6, Death Touch for 4, and as long as he's in the battlefield, all activated abilities of all artifacts, he has all activated abilities of all artifacts in your graveyard.
Yeah,
Are
so
you kidding
again,
me?
that
Are you
theme
kidding me?
of the graveyard.
Oh my gosh.
And, if I'm playing the Tyranid deck and I have Destroy Target Artifact, I think I got rid of it, but I didn't because he can still use the abilities of whatever I got rid of.
Yeah. Emotec the Stormlord, 3/3 for 4. And, what does he say? Whenever one or more artifact cards leave your graveyard, create a 2/2 black Necron warrior artifact creature token. And at the beginning of combat your turn, at the beginning of combat, I love those abilities. Another target artifact creature you control gets +2/+2 and gains menace until end of turn. Menace means they can't be blocked by less than 2 creatures, which makes your whole plan for blocking just fall through the window. Anrakir the Traveler, 5 So a black and 4 for 4/4. And what did he say? I can't read that. Whenever he attacks, you may cast an artifact spell from your hand or graveyard by paying life equal to its mana value rather than paying its mana cost. Life is a resource, folks. It's not just counting how long the game lasts. It's letting you do stuff. And that's awesome.
And that's a very common theme with black decks anyways, is using life to make your spell stronger.
Yeah. So great. And this one, maybe not as great. Sacrifice another creature, add amount of black mana equal to the sacrificed creature's mana value. So I don't know that I would run that as a commander.
I mean, it's definitely good in the 99. Sack outlets are always awesome.
Yeah.
And getting mana for sacrificing things when we know that our other creatures are going to be able to use stuff out of the graveyard. Like, saying sacrifice just means put it back into the graveyard where I can use it again.
That's true.
Like, this is really cool. I'm going to show,
this is
again,
awesome.
The Soul Ring. Every deck has a Soul Ring. They're all different.
That's one of the Necron portals.
Yeah, that's a Necron portal.
That's awesome.
And I also wanted to show the Arcane Signet. It has a very Necron-y feel.
Ooh, look at that.
So
they have the best color, too. The black-green.
The black and the green look so good. I wanted to... Why they didn't put Legendary on this creature is beyond me, because it is kind of a named character. A little bit of lore about the Necrons is thousands and thousands and thousands of years ago, they were living, breathing humanoid aliens that were on a very nuclear reactive planet, and they were dying young. They prayed to these gods, and they made a deal with these gods to be immortal, to not die so young. The gods tricked them, made the machines instead, so the machines don't die. So they captured the gods and basically enslaved the shards of these gods, called the Catan or Satan. I've heard it said. It's C''Tan.
Yeah.
And one of my favorite of the Satan shards in 40k is the Shard of the Void Dragon. And we have him represented here.
Gosh.
Let's get him in frame there. So he's expensive. He's 8 mana. When in Commander, if I'm spending 8 mana on something, it's going to win me the game, or it's not going to be in my deck. And what he does...
He's running 7/7 flyer.
So he's a 7/7 flyer with flying. Whenever he attacks, each opponent sacrifices an all-non permanent. For 8 mana, not great, but still really good, fun. But then the matter absorption. Whenever an artifact is put into a graveyard, your graveyard, any graveyard, from the battlefield, or is put into exile from the battlefield, put 2+1/+1 counters on Shard of the Void Dragon. So is he going to win you the game this turn? No. Is he going to win you the game next turn or the turn after?
Probably.
Yeah. So he's really fun, and that's kind of how he is in 40k. He costs a ton of points.
Oh, he's a creature Catan. That's awesome. They made that a creature type.
I do kind of wish that they put the Satans in here as legendaries, because it would be cool to run them as a commander, but they have all the things for Necrons represented. The canop techs, so the little spiders and things that run around and repairing things, you've got those. It's just, like I said, this is probably, if you're a new Commander player, whether you like Necrons or not, it's a single color. It's going to be easy to get your mana, and it's really fun. It'll also teach you that in Magic, when something dies,
it doesn't mean it's gone.
It's not always out of the
black.
picture.
All right.
Brought water down.
And then, of course, instead of land fixing, you get deck fixing in all the land stuff. So, for example, you got Obelisk, you destroy target permanents instead of... you've got Thought Vessel, where you have no maximum hand size. Also, Reliquary Tower, it does the same thing. You got 2 cards to do the same thing. And card draw in Commander Sphere, where you can add mana or draw cards, sacrifice and draw cards.
This one's cool. Sculpting Steel, 3 mana, You may have Sculpting Steel enter the battlefield as a copy of any artifact on the battlefield. Oh, you have a really strong artifact. Guess what? Artifact creatures are artifacts. All your creatures in this deck are artifact creatures. So they're all going to come in as... You can copy them. You can make that a copy of whatever artifact you want. It's going to be really fun in this deck.
This is so great.
Again, this one's really cool. The Tyranid's my favorite because it's how I want to play Commander. It also, I've painted a lot of Tyranids with my son.
Yeah.
And I really like their aesthetic. I like their look. But Necrons are cool. Again, Imperium. I kind of make fun of the Imperium a lot. Again, I have a Blood Angels army. I love Blood Angels, but the Imperium as a whole, especially like the Inquisitors and stuff like that,
I just like the idea that these are supposed to be the good guys, and then you learn pretty quickly there are no good guys.
There are no good guys. If you want to say they're the good guys, I mean, the tokens that he showed you that pop out, the Imperium one is a two-headed eagle, very reminiscent of something from our history about 80 years ago. And the humans are very xenophobic. They are very close-minded, and they're not the good guys. None of them are.
Nobody is. There are no good guys in war. That's what Warhammer 40k teaches you. War. There are no good guys.
And the tagline that I think it was on the second edition box, and they've used it ever since, is in the grim darkness of the far future, there is only war. There's no good, there's no evil, there's no joy, there's war. And that's very much how it is. And
makes for a sucky life, but a really fun game.
And now a fun addition to another very fun game.
Yeah. There's all the deck boxes that come with it. We are running out of time a little bit, so we're not going to bust open as many of these other packs as we wanted to. But like I said, there's a two for one going on.
We have another release
as far as releases.
This was supposed to come out on April Fool's Day this year. It got delayed because of things in Asia. I'm already starting to rip into it, but let's show. This is Unfinity. If you're familiar with Magic the Gathering, a few times they have done sets with they start with the letters UN, unglued, unhinged,
was the first one.
Unstable, unsanctioned, and now Unfinity. What that undesignation means is that these cards are fun. They are funny. They are punny. Some of them are not legal in normal formats. They're meant to be played with each other.
Yeah, most of them are not. I mean, and up to now they've been silver bordered.
Silver bordered, meaning they just could not be played. Any card that came out of the unsets
we got the box
could not be played.
Look at that.
So every box you buy, whether it's a collector box or a draft box of Unfinity, is going to have a box topper. That's one I'm going to open, but I'm going to open that after I open 2 or 3 other packs.
Here's the art on the packs. Obviously, you can see we're having fun here.
Just real quick, some of the old unsets, like if you remember the Minotaur that had denim walk, meaning if your opponent was wearing denim, they couldn't block him. Just stupid, funny, and it works really well contained. If you put that in a normal Commander deck,
it doesn't work so well.
How mad would you be if somebody pulled the Minotaur with denim walk on your Sunday night game and you're wearing jeans?
Well, that led to a really fun question, and I think Morrow brought it up on Twitter or something like that, but at one point when playing this, they had to rule then on at what speed
you
on
could
the
remove
stack
clothing.
Does removing your pants happen at?
I mean, only in unsets. They did 2 unsets early on in the game in the 90s. Kind of left it alone for a lot of years. Unstable came out, probably 10 years ago.
10 years ago, yeah.
But not that long ago. And then Unsanctioned was fun, but it wasn't a draft set. It was pre-built decks, where this is going back to what Un is supposed to be, draft set. So because it's a draft set, we're going to open 3 packs. If you're unfamiliar with draft, real quick, open 3 packs, use those 3 packs, and the packs that your table mates have opened to each build a 40-card deck, play with it. So
we can lead them up back here. I think these are good.
Perfect.
If you can read it though.
I can't read it that far away, but
scared stiff zombies.
And, yep, has menace as long as you control a stickered permanent. Stickers are a new thing for.
I don't know about stickers. We're gonna find out about that
for this. Now,
they're in the back here.
Like he said, these are not silver bordered. That doesn't automatically mean it's legal to play in other formats, though. But if you look right here, on some cards there will be a little foily acorn.
Yep, got one here.
That means it is not legal to play in formats outside of UN. So, but this does not have that. You can put that in a commander deck. So it means it's fun and UN, but it's not so crazy that it couldn't be outside in other formats. Leading performance, choose 2 letters. Put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control whose name begins with either of the chosen letters.
Yeah. So we're just goofing off.
That's a very thing.
Electrocute deals 2 damage to any target, and you can cast it again from your graveyard if you've rolled a 6 on your turn. Just roll a 6 and cast it again from your graveyard. And then exile it. What else we got? Amped Up. Spell costs 1 less to cost for each electrical socket in a wall or floor you can see from your seat.
Okay.
That one's not legal.
Not legal, this one. This
No.
next one also not legal. Common. An incident has occurred. It's 1 and a green for a sorcery. Choose one or both. Destroy target creature with flying or destroy target attraction. You may apologize. If you do, gain 3 life. So literally, I can tell you sorry for destroying your stuff and gain life.
Prize wall. You tap it with blue, you get a ticket. And for and a blue, you can put a sticker on an on-land permanent you owned. Activate only as a sorcery. And that's legal. So stickers are legal.
Yeah, some of the sticker stuff is legal, which... Let's not argue whether that's a good or a bad thing for the formats.
We'll figure that out.
We'll finish it out. Finishing Move is also a legal card. 2 and a green for a sorcery. You get 2 tickets. You may then put a sticker on an on-land permanent you own. Target creature you control deals damage equal to its power to target creature you don't control. So again, using tickets and stickers. New thing with this set. People are arguing whether or not they're beneficial to add to the formats, but you know what? That's why Commander has a rules committee.
Yeah.
If they end up not being good for the format, they'll remove them.
So speaking of tickets and stickers, here's the tokens in here. There's the ticket bucket bot. I assume that's in everything. You put your ticket counters there and then spend them whenever you place a sticker with a ticket cost. Here's one for the example. This is the Geek Lotus Warrior. And these stickers... You can pay 2 to, this creature gets +2/+0 for 2. You can pay 4 whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control. Its permanent deals 2 damage to target player. Pay 2 tickets, and it becomes a 4/1. Pay 3 tickets, and it's a 3/6. And you can add Geek, Lotus, or Warrior to anything. Those are stickers. And then these little symbols are stickers, too. And there you go.
So the other new mechanic that this is adding to the formats we play is attractions. All the attractions have how to use an attraction on the back of them.
Yeah.
So this attraction is the roller coaster. Now, Unfinity is set to be an outer space carnival. So, of course, Carnival is going to have attractions. So you're going to set... There's rules on how to play the attraction. I'm not going to get into it. But then once you have an attraction, it's an artifact on your battlefield that does things when you roll certain dice. And then, without getting into every card, right? Well, with the old unsets, there used to be one reason players who didn't want to play on would still pick up a few unpacks, and that was the lands.
Yeah, the lands are beautiful.
The lands are gorgeous.
The unset, the unglued was the first time when they did semi-full art.
Still had a frame.
It still had a frame, but it was bigger, and it just had the mana symbol at the bottom. I have some of those still, and they are beautiful and expensive.
Unsanctioned, the most recent full-on set, some of the foil lands go for upwards of $80, $90 for a basic land. They're gorgeous. They're fun. And we're not breaking that tradition here. Again, the theme is an outer space carnival. So we're going planet themed. Every pack is going to have at least one land. This is an island, so play it for blue mana. Just beautiful. The other thing they did with this set is they brought back a special land type, a rare land type that we have nicknamed Shoplands.
Did you get one?
Not in this pack, no.
Geez.
So Shocklands are 2-color, and usually 2-color lands enter the battlefield tapped, meaning you don't get to use it till the next turn. With a Shockland, I can choose to take 2 damage and let it enter tapped. They're a very powerful land, especially in Commander, but every format they're legal in, Shocklands are used.
Nice.
Actually, let's just go on to the box topper, because I've seen
We're
online
just talking about so many of these.
Yeah,
it's just so fun to talk about.
They are, and I'm going to dig into more of these. We could make a 2-hour-long video about this, and none of us want to see that, even me. So, like I said, the Shocklands.
Oh my gosh! Did you see this? Did you read this one? Okay, before he does that.
Unfortunate. Oh no, that's not an acorn. That is legal to play.
It's legal to play. This is called Starlight Spectacular. I'll hold it closer so you can read it. It's got a lot of text in it. Too out of focus. Okay, Parade. This is 2 white and 2 colorless. At the beginning of combat on your turn, choose creatures you control one at a time until each creature you control has been chosen. Each of those creatures gets +1/+1 until end of turn for each creature chosen before it. The first creature in line gets +0/+0. So if you can get a lot of creatures out, which it's in white, so
it's
you've
in
got
white,
a lot of
so
wings
tokens and
Tonys, and you're just gonna buff them all up until the last one is +10/+10, whatever. Put out a lot of creatures and put that in your deck.
That's not disgusting at all.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So again, there was this box topper pack. Has 1 card in it. All of the box toppers, every box. So whether it's a collector box or a draft box, it's going to have a box topper. And all of the box toppers are going to be foil versions of those Shocklands that I talked about.
That's awesome. Blood Crypt.
These traditionally, when there's a lot of Shocklands in circulation, I don't like to talk about values on these, but usually they'll sit about $20 when there's not a lot in circulation for a regular art, and about $10 when they're well circulated. For these foil full arts, we'll find out in the next few weeks where they're going to sit, but they're going to be the reason a lot of us are opening packs of this. Drafting is going to be fun. Here at the Orem store, we're going to be drafting this Friday night at 7 p.m.
Okay, so if you're watching this Thursday night, which is when it's going out, or Friday on YouTube, come and draft tonight.
Yep, Friday at 7 p.m. And then if you're watching this on Friday, tomorrow at noon, we're going to be doing an event with the Warhammer decks.
Nice.
So you'll get a deck, you'll open it, sleeve it up, and play it right then with the other Warhammer decks. So that's here at the Orem location. All 4 Dragon's Keep locations are doing those events. The draft is going to be at 7 o'clock at any location except for Lehigh. We like to start things a little earlier in Lehigh at 6 o'clock. And then you can call the other stores to figure out what time their Warhammer events are. Those are going to be different throughout Saturday and Friday. So it's going to be a lot of fun. I've been hyped about both of these releases for a while. Getting Shocklands in gorgeous arts. I mean, you can go online and see all the
really
arts.
Cool.
There's 2 or 3 of them that I'm going to have an artist friend alter into like the Death Star and other Star Wars things, because I'm a Star Wars nerd too. So
cool. All right. Well, yeah, a big weekend for Magic. Come and get your Warhammer 40k. Come and get your Unfinity sets and come play. That's what it's all about. So that's why we have drafts and these events, is because you need to play this game with somebody. So come play here.
And we always have people here to play, so come see us at the Keep.
Yep. We'll see you then on this weekend, or stop by any night, Monday nights here in Orem, or Thursday nights to play some Magic. And we'll see you then. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it.